Mirostone is a range of versatile work surfaces that have all the beauty and feel of natural stone combined with exceptional practicality and easy installation. Once the cabinets have been built, you can install Mirostone quickly and easily without waiting for templating and fabrication. It can be safely crafted using standard woodworking tools on site, making the installation process simple and straightforward. All brands, materials and styles of undermount sinks can be fully integrated within the Mirostone work surface. For acrylic sinks, mark the outline in pencil and remove excess material with a jigsaw. Sand the surface to help bonding with the sink and remove any pencil marks on both sides, as well as factory printed letters and numbers on the reverse side. Select a suitable router cutter to create U-shaped drainer grooves. Here we have used a 9.5mm radius cutter. Clamp the drainer groove jig in place and pass over with the router cutter. Once finished, remove the jig and sand each groove by hand. Apply adhesive to the rim of the acrylic sink. Position on the work surface and clamp into place. Once cured, turn the work surface back over and use a router cutter with a bottom bearing to remove excess material. Sand down to ensure a smooth, seamless finish. Make sure the cold tap is running when pouring boiling water into an acrylic sink to prevent damage. Gable ends are a great way to round off a breakfast bar or cabinet with a seamless finish. To start, cut to size with a circular saw and trim with a router cutter. Before placing the surfaces together, wipe the edges with denatured alcohol to ensure they are clean. Apply adhesive. Bring the two surfaces together and recheck they are square.
Sand the surface using an orbital sander starting with 150 grit, then 240 grit, 320 grit and 500 grit sandpaper before finishing with a polishing pad.
Work surfaces and breakfast bars fit together in a similar way. By using a router cutter, you can create inconspicuous joints, a defining feature of Mirostone. Use biscuits to help level the surfaces. Attach wooden blocks to the work surface using hot melt adhesive. Clean with denatured alcohol and bring the surfaces to within 2 mm of each other. Apply adhesive into the joint and clamp the two surfaces tight. Leave to cure before removing the wooden blocks.
Use a block plane to remove excess glue and sand using a random orbital sander and 150 grit sandpaper. The internal corner of the joint needs to be given a minimum 12mm radius to reduce the risk of stress cracking. The 12mm radius can be applied either before or after the two surfaces have been seamlessly jointed. To do this after the two surfaces have been joined, first position and secure a plunge saw guide rail which is offset from the Mirostone surface edge by 12mm. Top tip: allow the Mirostone surface, which is to be reduced in width, to overhang the cabinets by an extra 12mm when positioned on the cabinets. Remove 12mm of material from the Mirostone surface. Using a 33mm guide bush with a 12.7mm diameter twin flute router cutter and a template which is G-clamped into position, machine a 12mm radius into the corner. Now, sand the new edge using a random orbital sander and the internal radiused corner by hand using 150 grit, then 240 grit, 320 grit and then 500 grit sandpaper, and finally a polishing pad. Now sand the joint on the surface using a random orbital sander with 240 grit, then 320 grit sandpaper. Finally, clean the surfaces and sand using a random orbital sander with 500 grit sandpaper, followed by a polishing pad.
The result is a naturally flowing appearance that not only looks smart, but is also completely hygienic. Curved edges take advantage of the way Mirostone colours run throughout the material. Different router cutters can provide a range of edge profiles and can be applied in minutes. Mirostone's waterproof functionality makes it ideal for splashbacks and upstands. Make sure both surfaces are clean and dry before coating the back in a silicone adhesive. Align and push firmly into position. Hob cutouts can be easily achieved with a jig and a router cutter. Plunge the cutter 5 to 6 mm at a time. Fit the work surface into position and apply heat-reflective tape to the edge of the surface. This is to protect against excessive heat from the hob. Finally, clean and sand the entire surface to show off the beautiful stone effect. To find out more, visit www.mirostone.co.uk.